This is The Elderly and Disaster by Anthony Silvestri. The elder community during a disaster. The elder community is the group that is most at risk during a disaster for the following reasons. Healthcare. During a disaster, healthcare needs that the elder community need become unavailable, as most emergency crews are unresponsive during these times. Emergency crews become unresponsive because they want to wait for the storm pass so they do not put their teams at risk during the storm and they're able to respond in the best manner once the storm were to pass. Immobility. Older people are not able to move as easily as the youth, and this can make evacuation a lot more difficult. Caregivers. During a disaster, most caregivers are not with their patients, and this leaves the patients stranded, having to provide for themselves, and many at this age are not capable of doing so. Also during this time, older people may not be able to receive their medicine, which can increase their vulnerability. This can increase their vulnerability because it can affect them cognitively, and they will not be able to make the best decisions in order for them to survive during a disaster. If flooding were to become an issue, most older people are not physically able to swim, which increases the risk of drowning. Relief. Relief for the elder community is much more difficult for the following reasons. Assistance. Since people who are older cannot move as well, relief crews need to be able to adjust and secure the person during a disaster. This can be done by using helicopters, which would fly over the roofs and pick up those who need it most. It can also be done by providing ropes and floating devices for people if flooding were to occur. The best example of this was during Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, when the houses were so flooded, people had to make their way to their roofs in order to survive. During this time, relief crews were using helicopters and flying above, dropping down netting to pick up the person. Transportation. As humans increase in age, their driving skills tend to decrease, and this can make them feel stranded. Teams need to provide evacuation routes for those who need it, and even offer buses to transport them to a safe area if the disaster is deemed as deadly as it is. Prevention. In order to be prepared for the elder community, teams need to think ahead. Teams will need to be able to provide medical assistance to those who need it most, and this can include giving the patients medication. An example of this would also be during Hurricane Katrina. In the Superdome, they had doctors on site as well as caregivers to provide medical assistance to the elderly as they deemed that they needed most. Having evacuation routes in place for the elderly can also give them more time to evacuate. This can be done by creating groups and then doing evacuation based on your group number. In order to assign a group number, you would give the group that would go first, which would be a group that has the most risk of not surviving during a storm. That would be done for the elder community.